What's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse. I'm Thunder Quad and Ryan. I am Jman. We are finishing up our Pro Wrestling Pulse Exile series here with our SummerSlam card. As you could probably tell on the time, this one probably went pretty long. We have two cards to combine into one. If you have not followed up with all these videos, if this is your first time catching out anything in the Exile series, basically a quick, roundup of the idea that we did here was me and Ryan both stopped watching WWE at the last pay-per-view we attended, actually, which was Money in the Bank back in June, and we're taking a 2-month exile up to SummerSlam. So we have not watched Raw, we have not watched SmackDown, NXT, any of the pay-per-views. The only thing we saw was that bullshit match with Joe and Lesnar, which we didn't even take the time to waste 7 minutes of our lives. That's the only thing we've seen for WWE in the last month and a half, leading into SummerSlam, and we're going to start back up at SummerSlam, and we're going to have a review for you guys for everything there. But we have not watched anything up until that point. We took the rosters over. Ryan took Raw. I took SmackDown. We booked the shows in between SummerSlam and Money in the Bank. So he did Great Balls of Fire. I did Battleground. Those videos are out there for you guys to watch. If you haven't watched those, just stop this video, go check those out, and you'll have an idea of the build and everything, because we've continued things over this pay-per-view, or over our pay-per-views into this SummerSlam card. But this is rounding out our Exile series with our SummerSlam card. Like I said, it's going to be 13 matches total, I believe. So we're going to have 5 matches for Raw, 5 matches for SmackDown, an interpromotional mystery match that we've titled it. I love that title. And then 2 pre-show matches, 1 for him and 1 for me. 13 matches total. So grab a bag of popcorn, settle in. Should be some fun time. So I have a lead-in to my stuff. He's going to kind of cover his stuff going into his matches and things like that. This is just the way that I've done it, kind of going into SummerSlam. So coming out of Battleground, the SmackDown after Battleground, the New Day are in just a random tag match. So I've kept the New Day together. They're in a random tag match. In the match, we actually get a heel turn from Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston is going to turn on Xavier Woods and Big E in that match, and basically turn himself, which actually it'll end up working out because the movie's going to be coming out soon. I almost want to turn Kofi into, God, it's hard. I don't want to say like a not like a world leader type of deal, but kind of like Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like the superhero. Kind of like where he's kind of like, but he's not like a dictator type of deal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop Kofi, and he's just going to be known as Kingston. Okay. And he's going to be a lot more real, and he's obviously going to be heel. And I wanted to see this. I think Ryan's probably wanted to see this too. I want to see a serious Kofi Kingston. We saw shades of it back when he feuded with Randy Orton back in like 2009. But I'm into that. I think it would be kind of cool. I want to change his gear up, done with all the colorful shit and all that kind of stuff. Get a serious tone to Kofi's character, and see where he can go with it. I think it would help elevate his career, and I think it would help, maybe move him on to the next step and possibly move him into, a main event scene. Down the road. I think Kofi is a hell of a talented guy. I think he can talk on the mic. I think he has charisma, and I think he deserves this spot, along, with what I've done with Dolph, another guy that's, been there and paid his dues and done so much for the company. I think Kofi is the guy that has done that for WWE and has done a shit ton for the company and deserves, a little bit of a push here. So I'm going to have Kofi turn on the New Day, Big E, and Xavier Woods, start a feud with Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods is going to remain face, and Kofi's going to say, he's done with this childish shit. He needs to elevate his career, and like I said, I can't put my finger on what I want his gimmick to be, but I want it to be a lot more serious, and
I think the Black Panther idea is pretty cool.
Yeah, especially with the movie coming out, too.
I thought whenever I wanted to do something with Kofi before, I'm like, what would be cool is if, like with the New Day, like have him completely be like a dark vigilante type character, where he'd be like, I don't know, it's kind of cheesy, but like be like the Dark Day, and him be like this vigilante, like Darkwing Duck character, even though that's like kind of hurricane-y. Yeah. But you could make him like just wear suits and sunglasses,
exactly.
and stuff
and
like
I would
that.
I would have shades of that, but with a serious tone.
Yeah.
Not like a comedic tone, obviously. That
Right.
kind of sounds a little more comedic, but yes,
Dude,
it sounds like the black it sounds like the Black Hurricane.
The black, or just the dark New
Hurricane
Day
at
character.
night.
Yeah, the Hurricane.
The Night Hurricane.
Yeah.
We're definitely not doing that. But yeah, serious, kind of wearing suits, things like that. Kind of shades of what you were doing with Apollo Crews a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a dark kind of version of Kofi's side. And I like dropping Kofi and just calling him Kingston.
What if you just did like Naito from New Japan?
Yeah,
almost just kind of make him like super kind of dickish,
yes,
kind of not give a shit about only himself, and
I like that.
I think that's,
and I think Kofi could do that, and yeah, so I'm all on board for that, and Kofi's a hell talented guy, and I think he can make that work. Okay, so after that, Charlotte coming out of Battleground, she won the SmackDown Women's title. Charlotte is going to turn heel on Becky. Becky has her eyes on Charlotte's title. It was pretty much written in the stars. You could see Charlotte would be turning after this point. Did the cash in as a face, but have her turn heel and start that feud with Becky. Charlotte heel, Becky is the face. The three heels that I've been having torment the entire roster, Orton, Ziggler, and Rusev, continue their beatdowns on the newer talent, all that kind of stuff. The Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon feud that happened back at Battleground that kind of started there, the dissension between the authority ranks continues on and has continued over the last month or whatever. The Fashion Police have continued the random investigation on who the leader of the Orzeglers are, because they don't have a name. Have continued that kind of thing, just doing random fucking segments and shit at Fashion Police because they're pretty funny. But this is the real big one here, getting to the final thing. So the feud between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn has, reached a boiling point, has intensified to a certain point that it's just off the fucking charts. As we've seen with these guys, they have had amazing feuds over the years and definitely can put on feuds of the year and great stuff. So what I'm going to have is, now Owens beat Zayn clean at Battleground in a one-on-one match for the U.S. title, beat him clean. Sami Zayn continuing his, kind of resist despair gimmick that I'm doing with him, dropping the kind of comedic thing he was doing. I want to have him come out and cut a promo, and Owens is going to be out there too, and Owens is going to be talking down Zayn, saying how he's always been the better man in the team and the friendship and whatever the hell it's ever been in the road or down the road. And Zayn's going to come out and he's going to agree with him. He's going to agree with Kevin Owens in the fact that Sami Zayn is inferior to Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn cannot hold a candle to Kevin Owens. And he's going to continue that. Owens is going to feed off that. But what Zayn is going to do is he's going to stop Kevin Owens and he's going to say, Sami Zayn is not capable of taking down Kevin Owens, but I know someone who is capable of taking down Kevin Owens. So Owens is going to react as though he knows exactly what he's fucking in for. The casual fans, me and Ryan sitting here watching that, we would know exactly what the fuck this is leading towards. The casual fan wouldn't have a fucking clue really what that's going towards, but Owens knows, and we need Owens to recognize like, oh shit, I know what he's fucking talking about. So he's going to continue over the week. Sami Zayn is going to do cryptic type messages of things from their past, and have things tie in to feuds they've had over the years, partnerships. Show video clips. They've got footage. I just recently got the new Kevin Owens DVD. They have footage of Ring of Honor shit. They have footage of PWG shit and all kinds of shit. So we can show things of their past. They did it in NXT too when Kevin Owens came in. And what I'm going to have this lead to is the go-home show to SummerSlam, the go-home SmackDown. The very last segment of the night is going to be their segment. Kevin Owens is going to come out. He said he's had enough of the mind games, had enough of this and that with Sami Zayn, bullshitting him around. And Kevin Owens is not going to be a bitch in this feud. He's going to just get really pissed off that he just keeps having these mind games played on him because nobody ever does that to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens usually does that to everybody else, but Sami Zayn knows how to get into Kevin Owens' head. And that's what he's doing here. In the middle of the promo, his lights go out. Don't know what the fuck is going on. The lights come back on, and we have a face-to-face with, for the first time in WWE, Kevin Owens and El Generico are going to go face-to-face in the middle of the ring.
Still going with El Generico as the name?
I'm going to keep El Generico as the name. I'm going to keep it. We're going to have the same, basically the same gimmick as we've seen in the past with El Generico, but obviously the darker tone because of the feud. The only time we've ever seen a dark El Generico is in feuds with Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen. And we're going to have a face-to-face, and almost similar to... Do you remember that segment back in ECW where Taz kept calling out Sabu, and finally kept calling him out, and the lights went out, and they faced off, and the crowd just shit their fucking pants. Mm-hmm. Similar to that, where they would just have a face-off, and you would get that image that would end their promo into SummerSlam with them facing off and having Generico with the mask on and the old school gear on and their face-off. And that is what is going to lead into SummerSlam and going to end SmackDown on the go-home show with the face-off between Kevin Owens and El Generico going into SummerSlam. So that's my lead-in. I don't know if you have anything that's going to lead in or anything if you need to go into, but we could get into the card. Like we said, we have 2 pre-show matches, and Ryan's going to kick it off.
Yeah, I guess I will throw something in here really quick. So this part kind of just pertains to two matches heading in to the pay-per-view, but I'll just talk about it. So the end of my pay-per-view, I had on my pay-per-view, I had Finn Balor win the number 1 contender match, and then I had Joe win the title. So on that pay-per-view, I had Balor say something about unleashing demons and doing that whole spiel. I'm gonna have him come out on Raw the next night and basically pussyfoot on Joe. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have him call out Joe and to the point where you know how Joe is his head's gonna explode with anger because he's so mad about things sometimes that he gets Joe so infuriated that he decides to put the title on the line that night on Raw. So they have a match, and
is this like immediately after?
This is immediately after pay-per-view.
So like the night after.
Yep, on Raw. They have a match on Raw. They face each other, and Balor isn't the demon character yet. He talked about unleashing demons and doing that whole thing,
right.
But he is not the demon. He ends up beating Joe here for the title.
Okay.
Beating Joe for the title, and then after he beats Joe for the title, he leaves the belt in the middle of the ring and just leaves and disappears.
Okay.
He disappears. He beat Joe for the title. So then the next week on
Does like the lights go out, or does he just walks out of the ring and just leaves the entrance?
I didn't really decide on that yet. I guess maybe I could just have him have him with the belt, looking at the belt, have the lights go out,
and the belt
just be laying in the middle of the ring, and then have Finn Balor disappear.
Right.
The next night on Raw, or next week on Raw, Balor is the champion, but he's nowhere to be found. No one knows where he is. Nobody knows what's happening. Nobody knows what's going on. They run that whole spiel. They have Heyman out there talking about how Lesnar never got his rematch and blah, blah, blah. So then the next Raw, the third Raw, heading in,
right.
Angle sets up a thing where if Balor does not show up on Raw tonight, the title and the main event will be Joe versus Lesnar for the title. So Joe, they go to that Raw. The whole show, no one has seen Balor, no one knows where he is, whatever. They have this match. They have Joe versus Lesnar, main event, okay?
Okay.
They have Joe and Lesnar face each other on the main event of Raw, which would never happen.
Yeah, right.
But they have Joe win, okay? I have Joe win, but not clean. Big Cass comes out, kicks Lesnar's head off.
Okay.
Joe wins the title again.
Right.
Right. Then the lights go out. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
The lights come back on. Balor's in the middle of the ring, full geared up.
Right.
All the demon gear like he is.
Right.
Okay. Staring at Joe, who has the Universal title now.
Right.
Balor has a title himself. And it's his own title. It's his own version of the Universal title. And it's a demon title.
Oh. Okay.
And the whole thing is, if Balor wasn't there, by the end of the night, he would not be champion anymore.
Right, and he was there by the end of the night.
He was there by the end of the night.
Right.
So you have Joe, who claims to be Universal Champion because he's beaten Lesnar twice.
Okay.
Even though he's lost to Finn Balor once.
Right.
Then you have Balor, and then facing off against each other, with Balor having his own version of the title, him as the demon, and Joe with the Universal title facing off.
And then just pooping on Brock Lesnar.
Just pooping on Brock Lesnar. Now, that also leads into Big Cass, his whole thing with Big Cass. Big Cass coming out, kicking Lesnar's head off, at this time and point, the whole thing is not really geared towards them. It's more of the Baylor Joe setup. But the next week after that, that night you see shades of Heyman being kind of disappointed or distraught.
And Lesnar.
Lesnar just kind of being out on the side of the ring, just kind of knocked out and just kind of like Heyman just with his hand on his head, just walking up the ramp without Lesnar.
Okay.
After that, the next week on Raw, Heyman comes out, cuts a promo, says how you never really know when the next big thing comes until the next big thing ends. So, and with Lesnar having 2 losses to Joe, maybe it's time for Lesnar to just take a seat to the next big thing, which then Heyman calls out Big Cass and starts managing him.
Ooh, okay.
Basically,
I thought that was leading to going with Joe. I didn't know it was going with Cass. That's okay. That's interesting.
Right. So, the whole idea is we're gonna have Big Cass cut his hair, look a little different. The whole idea of wearing the suits is kind of overplayed with wrestlers that are kind of trying to be serious, but for this setup, it makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
Have him be a little more serious. I'm gonna have Heyman talk for him a lot, pimp him out, make him. They're not gonna really refer to the next big thing like they did with Lesnar when he was first coming up. But I'm gonna have something along the lines of have him refer to him as the Staten Island Stud. Or something like that, and how he sees potential and he sees that that Cass could be this next Lesnar, could be this next possible main eventer,
right.
And so that was all that stuff is kind of a little bit connected to each other, but that's the main thing that I needed to get over with the Raws leading up.
Okay, cool.
So
that'll lead into now this will start our official SummerSlam card, and we have our 2 pre-show matches that we'll kind of skim through here, but Ryan's going to go ahead and kick it off with the first pre-show match.
All right, so...
And we're not going to have a 2-hour fucking pre-show. It's just going to be an hour.
No.
We could fit 2 fucking 7 to 10 minute pre-show matches on an hour fucking show.
Right.
Jesus.
This match is something I wanted to continue, but I didn't want to make a big deal. I wish I could have made it bigger, but for whatever reason, I look at this on paper, I just feel like this can't get any bigger to me. In terms, I mean, you could make it on a pay-per-view, but to me, the comparison with the 2 facing each other just isn't. It doesn't feel big time enough for me, and that's Kalisto and Neville. I was going to put them on the main show, but I kind of over the last week or so, I kind of twisted some stuff around, put some different stuff in different places, and finished with this here. So I have Neville and Kalisto on my pre-show for the Cruiserweight title. It seems that Cruiserweights kind of get left in that spot, but there just doesn't seem to be anyone I really feel like Neville is good with.
Right.
Not good with. He's good with a lot of people in the ring, but that feels comparable to him. The whole angle I had with these guys in the beginning was Kalisto sneaking wins. And sneaking out wins and getting wins on Neville, and no one can get wins on him, and he's rolling him up and he's doing that. Well, when Neville gets smart about it, he doesn't, he realizes that's the only way he's winning, and instead of this being just some kind of high fly, let's go cruiserweight style match, this is just a literal squash match.
Oh wow, okay.
Neville just destroys him.
Wow.
Destroys him in like under 5 minutes. Pins him. That's it. Wins the title back.
So, where do you go from there, though?
If I had the booking strategy, and if I had the booking capabilities, I would bring people from NXT up.
True.
I would move some people around from other shows.
Right.
To me,
that's actually funny because my pre-show match I was actually talking about we should make a trade for one of the guys because I'd actually want to.
Really?
And I know you would want to use the shit out of him because we've talked about it before, but
yeah,
I mean that's definitely something. And that's true. The usage of NXT and bringing in
right. And if we were going to do it like that and we were able to,
but does that almost make But does it almost make everybody that's been on the main roster in the Cruiserweight division basically useless, though?
Yes, and the point being is, I want Neville to be
the man.
I want him to be my Cruiserweight guy.
Right.
And I don't want it to be somebody on the main Cruiserweight roster to take over that spot. I had Kalisto beat him, sneak up a pin and beat him. I wanted to show that Neville is beatable, but only when he's caught off guard.
Or maybe have it to where Neville thinks he's just better than the division and starts to move up the roster.
Right.
Maybe move up to the IC title.
Yeah, it could even...
What the hell title's on Raw?
Yeah, it's IC title.
IC title, yeah. I have the US title.
Yeah.
That's right. We've been out of wrestling for too damn long. We don't know where titles are.
But the idea was... I wish I could have had him face someone else or do whatever, but he has that, like I talked before, he has that Lesnar effect, and he has that Lesnar effect in the Cruiserweight division where he just looks so dominant that it's hard for anyone to beat him.
This would be a good time, too. You know, he had the roll-up loss to Kalisto, like you were saying, and then if he just squashes him here, this would be the perfect time to bring in somebody to debut, like after the match, and say, okay, this is the next... Like Roderick Strong
If I had the capabilities to do this, if we were able to do this and we agreed to this, I would probably bring up Pete Dunne and have him and Pete Dunne feud or something.
That would be great.
The Bruiserweight, you know, that or something like that, or like a Roderick Strong, or a guy, you know, a Kenta or whatever, something like that. A formidable feud.
Right.
To me, I like Kalisto. I wanted to create something with the Cruiserweight division to make the matches fun, but to me, I feel like right now where they're at with their roster, it's kind of a dead end.
Okay.
I feel like they need to bring guys up.
I have the perfect trade that we can make after this matchup because this leads into my pre-show match. Right. I'm going to have the newly established, newly turned heel Kingston going up against his former partner Xavier Woods, coming out with Big E. Xavier Woods and Big E continuing not really their joyful, fun times, but they're still very fun and loving. But Kingston is not so much. He's going to have a serious tone. He's going to get a nice win here over Xavier Woods, and I'm going to boost him up. I'm not going to shoot him to the fucking moon, but I'm going to gradually build Kofi, or Kingston, whatever the hell you want to call him. But I'm going to gradually build him. Continue, like we're saying, the Black Panther, Dark Day, whatever the hell you want to call it. Continue that dark, serious gimmick for Kofi. But I would like to make a suggestion that I would probably trade you Xavier Woods for Neville.
Yeah.
I would love to reform the Lucha Dragons, and you could have Xavier Woods to maybe use in a Cruiserweight division, because I know you've talked about possibly wanting to use Xavier Woods.
Reform the Lucha Dragons.
I have Sin Cara on my roster.
Oh, you said trade Xavier for Neville.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kalisto.
Kalisto for Xavier.
Kalisto, yeah. I think that would be
I'd put Xavier in the Cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
I think that would be entertaining.
And I think it would be...
I even thought about, because I split Kaz and Enzo up, put Enzo in the Cruiserweight division. I just want somebody to look comparable to Neville.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they've built anyone up strong enough. I don't feel like there's anyone on the roster.
No. NXT definitely are.
There's some guys, and that's why I kind of fell dead end with the Cruiserweight division.
So I'm gonna do Kingston versus Xavier Woods, and I'm gonna have Kofi go over in that matchup, getting a solid win, and start his kind of heel run going there, which I would be all for seeing. I think it'd be some entertaining stuff. So this is going to now start our main roster, our main show for SummerSlam, which will be 11 matches, I believe. So you're gonna go ahead and kick off the show.
All right. So. This has a lead into, because I can't really give away the person this person's facing right away. I have to kind of to say. So it's Apollo Crews.
Okay.
Or IC champ or just Crews or Apollo.
Whatever.
Never really got to. We'll just call him Crews for now. Crews with the IC title, facing a mystery opponent.
Oh Jesus.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh good. Okay. So here we go. Crews. The whole idea I wanted to do with him was I wanted to make him like this wrestling version of a politician.
Yep.
And politicking for himself, doing the whole Cruise 2017, handing out like stickers. And yeah, I know it kind of seemed comedish or whatever, but it's like this whole where he's almost like this the horror of the 2016 election.
Ugh.
Like not reliving that deal, but kind of just being like playing into this guy who is a heel, but he's trying to suck up and be this yes man, and he starts creating these vignettes. And if you've seen politicians, they do the smear videos or whatever. Yeah. Oh, Hillary did this and blah blah blah, and if you want to vote for the right person, Trump 2016 or blah, whatever. So it kind of starts with that, where he starts these vignettes, and they're like that. He's like, paid advertisement forward by WWE and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like these little vignettes of him like golfing. And it's just like vignettes of him just like just like, you know, doing like
Random shit,
businessman stuff and
talking to old people in diners.
Yeah, and shaking people's hands and kissing babies and like doing this whole, you know, vote for me, even though he, you know, and the whole idea is he's being voted as the face of Raw type thing, and that's what he's trying to be voted in, which is not even a real thing. You know, it's not even a thing that you can be voted for, but it's just this funny thing, and
he wants to lead everything.
Right, he wants to be this, and he's the IC champ, and you know, blah blah blah. So he has a couple of these little vignettes, and he does them, and then I'd say he probably does about 5 of them.
Okay.
And then by the 3rd vignette, the screen goes fuzzy, like you know, like a TV screen goes fuzzy, like with the
ghost screen,
with the gray or whatever. And then an anonymous person pops up.
Oh shit.
Their voice is distorted. They look like a shadow. You don't know who they are.
Ahmed Johnson.
Right. That would be hilarious. And I wanted to play off this whole conspiracy anonymous type thing. You know, with the V for Vendetta masks, and have this person be like, "Don't listen to what you're hearing. It's all fake. It's all a fallacy. It's all not true. This person is blah 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 that." And now these little cut-in segments are about 10 to 15 seconds long, and then they keep happening, and then they keep happening, and then by the last one, after the first 2, Cruz pretends like these things are not happening. You know, he has people asking him, "What's going on with this anonymous person going your vignette things or whatever?" And he's just like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and blah 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 blah. And then on the last one, the anonymous person, they're like, you know, talking or whatever, and they're like, "Tonight you'll find out. Tonight you'll find out." And then finally, Cruz has to address what's happening.
Okay.
So I was trying to decide if I wanted to expose the person the Raw before SummerSlam or expose the person at SummerSlam. I think I don't want to do too many surprise deals at SummerSlam. I don't want it to seem like way too much going on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it at the Raw before and have the screen go fuzzy like that, and then the anonymous person is Seth Rollins. It kind of goes with how his gimmick is right now, where with the fuzzy screen.
Yeah, that's true.
And have him be like anonymous. I don't think this would be a gimmick that I would carry over, because obviously after you're anonymous one time and they find out who you are, you're not anonymous anymore.
Yeah, right.
But it really goes well with this storyline. With this guy who's like this politician character trying to get people to be on his side and be fans of him, and I'm the face of this company, and blah blah blah, and who Seth Rollins has arguably been one of the major faces of this company for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Has, you know, something to say about it, and how what you're saying is fake and it's BS, and they go into a feud and they have a match against each other, and then they go into SummerSlam and they face each other. This match is great. Yeah. I'm going to make it really, really good. I'm going to make it the opening the Intercontinental title match that we all wish to see.
Yeah.
A great 15 to 20 minute style match with Apollo Crews going over here. He's not going to go over clean. He's going to get a cheap win, but the match is going to be good. And I think the idea of something that's being kind of shitted on a little bit right now in WWE is the idea of trying to get younger guys over newer guys. And I think a Crews getting a win here over Seth Rollins is good, even though it's not going to be like he's going to cheat. He's going to have someone cheat for him. He's not going to roll up the tights or anything like that. He's just going to do almost like grown man badass heel tactics. Just like I don't know, just cheap punches to the face when the ref's not looking,
right.
Stuff like that. Just, you know, removing the turnbuckle and then, you know, having him hit his head on the turnbuckle and then hitting his finisher and getting the win.
Right.
I think that's better than having someone cheat for him or whatever. It makes him seem smart. Makes him seem like he's a cunning businessman, type deal. And
we'll do anything to win, just like politicians.
Right? Yeah, we'll do anything to win, just like politician. And I think that's cool. And then, you know, if I was going to continue this feud, the whole thing is how, you know, the things that people that are upset about is how bad is, you know, the politicians shitting on everyone else, and when is the good guy going to get the win?
Right.
And it leaves that bad taste in your mouth as the fan, just being like, God, he'll get him next time. He'll get him next time.
Yeah.
And that to me, I think that's a good story. That's a good story to continue even building.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting. That's an interesting little facet to, especially to Rollins, that character. I think he would make that work for sure. It actually ties up, like I said, we don't know our cards. I don't know any of his matches. He doesn't know any of my matches, so we're kind of just putting this together. If we really collaborated, we would obviously organize these matches to maybe where he wouldn't run into a tag match or something, you know what I mean? So
right.
We might end up doing that. So obviously this isn't like a pre-booked setup for our amount of matches and things like this, but this actually worked out pretty well. So what I'm going to have here is my opening match for SmackDown, the second match on the overall card. I'm going to have a 6-man tornado tag match. I'm going to have the 3 heels of Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Rusev, who's been kind of a conglomerate going on here, going up against Baron Corbin, Luke Harper, and Ty Dillinger. Now, they all had singles matches together, the 3-on-3 young guys versus the established guys. At Battleground, we're going to combine them all together, and basically this would be shades of those 6-man tag matches with Evolution and Shield, Shield and the Wyatt family. Obviously, the talent, some of the talent is up to par with those matches, but I would just have this be just a fun, just kind of spotty, just go over the place. You kind of have some guys go through the arena, do some shit. I wouldn't have this be, crazy fucking long, but, 10 to something, 12 minutes or something like that. And I'd have them just, do some fun spots here and there. I'd have the young guys look pretty strong here. I definitely want to get over Corbin. Like I said, I turned Baron Corbin face, so I want to continue to push him. Luke Harper doing his, new age Bruiser Brody thing, continuing that on. But I am going to have the established kind of guys, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Rusev getting the win here. I'm going to have Randy Orton probably get the pin, or maybe Ziggler. I might have Ziggler get the pin. I think that probably make most sense. I'm going to have Ziggler get the pin, probably over Dillinger. I don't want to pin Corbin or Harper, but like I said, kind of shades of, those matches we saw back in like 2014 or whatever when Evolution reformed and had those matches with the Shield were just a bunch of really cool 6-man tag matches where you could kind of hide weaknesses of some guys and make other guys look really, really good. So you could kind of hide guys that wouldn't really shine in a one-on-one or traditional tag match. You could kind of have them do more spotty things and make them, shine and look pretty good. So I'm going to have the heels of Orton, Ziggler, and Rusev getting the win in a 6-man tornado tag matchup.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're not like there's no faction type deal with Corbin or Harper.
No, this is more just like a
collective.
It's like a collective of dudes, kind of like
against the system type of thing.
Kind of like the front line in TNA.
Okay.
When they were just kind of like a group of dudes that are going up against the main event Mafia or whatever.
Okay.
Just kind of like a bunch of dudes that, and these are the lower end of the, because like I said, we'll have more to get to here later on in the show, and then what would be happening further on throughout the year or whatever, but this is the lower end of the new age, new era guys. So I want these established guys to get a nice win over these younger guys that, they have their eyes set on, I guess, not really higher talented because they are, but more main event style new age guys that are on my SmackDown roster, the AJs, the Nakamura's, the Zanes, those kind of guys that they could have their eyes on in the future, but they're going to take out these any young guys that they can, because they're taking spots and they're taking time from the established guys that want their fucking spots back or whatever the case is. But no like ties of a faction really here, but it's just once Corbin turns face, then he can start to get along with the other guys, and it makes sense for him to get along with the Harpers and all those kind of guys because they're all still face too. So, but that's what I'm going to have for my opening match with that 6-man tag.
Cool. All right, so second thing I got here, I have to lead in with some stuff first. So after Sasha wins the title from Alexa, that feud kind of dwindles off. They kind of rehash this whole thing where, Bayley and Sasha are friends, and they're talking, and they're like, you're the champion now, or whatever, and we could have a friendly competitive match, and everything be, fun and all this, and we're friends, and may the best woman win, and blah, blah, blah. So Sasha agrees to have a match with Bayley on Raw. I don't know if it would main event Raw. Maybe I would main event it as Raw. I don't know. But it's not really the match itself that's going to be great. It's the angle in which that's going to make this continue this feud. I'm going to have them in a competitive one-on-one match. Just kind of go through the paces.
For the title or not?
For the title, yes.
For the title.
Okay, for the title. Sasha basically is like, we've been friends for this amount of time or whatever. Or Bayley, they're like, oh yeah, we're friends. And there's been this kind of like niche thing that's kind of been going on for a while with Sasha where that people have told Bayley that she's not really your friend, you know what I mean?
Right.
And blah, blah, blah. So we're going to have them face each other, like I said, in a competitive match. In this match, we would have to create this scenario, but this would be a situation where an accident happens in real life, if we could make it happen. Instead of...
What type of accident are we talking about?
Okay, where they're wrestling, it gets a little hot and heavy. Not sexual.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait, what?
Not sexual. They're on the outside of the ring. Sasha drop toe holds Bayley into the step stairs and busts Bayley wide open. Like, bad bust open. Like, bleeding profusely everywhere, all down her face.
Right.
And instead of the match finishing, they had to stop the match because she was bleeding so bad.
Right. So it would basically be one of those, like, you would have to set it up like it's planned, but you want to make it come off like it was like she was busted open the hard way, like not.
Yes,
legitimate.
I think the plan was to.
It's not like it's like Bayley or Sasha hit her with a chair and then she starts bleeding, but she's like dropped hold, and then it's like it's like a scenario like, oh shit, like we have to stop the match because it got serious.
Right, and
like when Enzo fucking almost murdered himself. Or,
yeah.
Like
that's how I wanted to make it. It seemed like a real accident.
Right.
And Sasha seems concerned. She's concerned about the situation. Bayley's hurt, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. And this is where I have basically Sasha turn. She sees the red. She sees the blood. And she's just like, while Bayley is just profusely bleeding, she just beats the shit out of her. That, go ends the Raw or whatever, if I main event it or whatever. And then you're kind of left with questions. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
Sasha's, not a heel, now she is, or what's going on? So then they continue this feud. Sasha basically comes out and says that, she's used Bayley. She knows Bayley's a great competitor. She knows that Bayley is the one she wants to be in the ring with to show off her stuff. She said she's always needed Bayley to get to where she's at, and now she's at where she's at, and she doesn't need Bayley anymore. She wouldn't have cared if Bayley bled out on the floor. Like, I'm going to make Sasha hard as fuck.
Yes.
I want to make her, I'm going to keep her as the boss, but I want to make it almost seem like she's a
blood boss.
She's the blood, not the blood boss, but like a bitch cartel drug boss.
Okay.
Where she's like, the women back behind this, in the women's roster, they're afraid of her.
Okay. Is she like Michelle Rodriguez?
Man,
I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I
feel like every movie Michelle Rodriguez is in, everyone's afraid of her.
Yeah,
like
they're just you just see like Sasha walking backstage, and then you kind of like
all the girls like, oh shit.
No, and they're like whispering to her, like, and they're just like looking at her, and Sasha's just like, she's looking tough, and there's like, and she's like, stop talking unless you want to bleed. So, Bayley, who's always been that character that's just, oh, hug me and I'm all great and this and blah, blah, blah. And we've never got to this point where they've tried to make her seem hard ass, and they try to make her seem like that in that kendo stick match against Alexa, and it was just like, This is here. I want Bayley to just like turn the intensity up here. I want her to not be hug me Bayley. I want her to be destroy Bayley. Destroy Bayley, destroy. Like, and I want this here to be where Bayley challenges Sasha to a first blood match at SummerSlam. I think that this is something that you don't really see because they try to keep the color out nowadays, but not in my shit.
Yeah, we haven't gone over how our WWE would be booked. It would not be PG.
Yeah.
It would definitely, as soon as we took over the book, not PG anymore. We're changing that shit up.
Not in my shit, and honestly, they've, over the last year, 2 years, they've kind of pushed the limit with the women and let them do a lot of stuff. True. The Hell in the Cells and the stuff that the women normally don't do. I think this is a match that is important, and I would say it's probably
the first ever women's one that I can think of in WWE, at least. I mean, there may have been one back in the day or something, but I fucking doubt it. All the statisticians out there maybe could help us out, but I would say it's probably the first ever one.
Yeah. and this I wanted to make it a heated, real like blood feud, like I wanted it to be. I want them to show all this footage of them being friends and all their matches they had in NXT, and I wanted it to be like Sean and Tripp, like
friends and
friends turned on each other, SummerSlam 02 feel type of thing. Obviously not to that magnitude, but
right.
But I wanted it to be like that, to where it was a heated blood feud. We were close, we were friends. She used me. I'm so nice. Not today. I'm not. Today I'm gonna cut you, bitch. Right. And in this, unfortunately, the game plan with this was I wanted to keep Sasha rolling with the title. I wanted her to run with it, and I'm gonna have her this go a decent amount of time. I'm gonna have her bust open Bayley here. I want to make it to almost like where she kind of did the same spot before, a week or a month, or a couple weeks or a month or whatever it was before she got busted open. Kind of have it to be like almost like, oh, you busted me open in the same spot, you know what I mean? Like, I was already cut there kind of thing. Yeah. So maybe even continue this down the line to even something more hardcore. But here, this is what I wanted to do for this. I thought I was like, man, what's something that we haven't done with the women and that we could really do that would be super cool with a really good feud? And I think this First Blood idea is pretty cool.
Yeah, that would stand out, and I think it would be a great match, too. Obviously, they've had amazing matches, so there'll be some good stuff there. I'm going to keep... I don't think I'm going to switch around. I'll go where we are. We're going to have another women's match, because this is my spot for the women's match. Far less an intense of a feud, I would say, than what Ryan has booked there. But we're going to have just a great wrestling match. This is really what I want here, because I don't think these two have really showcased themselves to the fullest, I would say, in matches they've had in the past. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But I'm going to have the SmackDown Women's title line. I'm going to have champion Charlotte, who just turned heel, going up against Becky Lynch. Who got the win in your match?
Sasha did.
Sasha wins. Shit, so that's going to be heel back to back. I'm going to have Charlotte go over in this one and actually retain the title. I'm going to eventually, down the road, I would have Becky go over, but I think everybody would be expecting that, and that's what I hate about wrestling sometimes, is matches you go into and you're like, I'm really looking forward to see what the quality of this is going to be, but you already know the outcome, and I don't like that. I don't like when WWE, because we've seen it too, where WWE just tries to surprise us, and then it's fucking random as hell. It's like some shit they just pull out of nowhere, like they have like Jinder Mahal just win the title, and it's just like, well, what? Like, okay, you tricked us, but it's a fucking bad trick. But it's something to where you just constantly always see go into matches and you're like, oh shit, we already know who's going over here and what's going to happen. But I think Becky would be expected to win this just because, it's kind of like one of those like dream scenarios where she could win it at SummerSlam from Charlotte. But I would want them to go out there and just put on a really solid wrestling match. I think it works well with Ryan having the more brutal style, having the more hardcore based women's match there with the blood and all that kind of shit and weapons and things. Have a more grounded, just wrestling standard style matchup here, which I think suits these guys best. And I'm going to have Charlotte go over here, not cheat or anything. Like I said, when it comes down to it, someday, somebody's just the better person. And in this case, Charlotte was the better woman in this scenario. And she's going to go over Becky here. Simple feud to the build up to this. Like I said, I just had Charlotte turn and continue her run as champion. Becky, the face, going after the title, hungry for it. Everybody gets behind Becky and all this kind of shit and expecting her to win. And she doesn't get the win here, and the feud can intensify. You could add maybe stipulations down the road. But I think I'd want them to get in there and have a few cracks to having a really solid, hopefully classic women's-style matchup. Because I think, we've seen it with the other ones, the Baileys and the Sashas, the Charlottes and the Sashas, the Charlottes and Baileys, whatever the case is. But I can't think of one where Charlotte and Becky have really had a really standout one because they've kind of been on different rosters, and even in NXT they've been in like 4-ways and shit. So give these girls a chance to go out there and have a really solid women's style matchup here with just one-on-one. And I'm gonna have Charlotte go over and retain the women's championship for that matchup.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I figured you were gonna do that Charlotte Becky.
What? Yeah. Well, when I'm trying to think who else is on the right. Let's see, Natalya, Tamina. I do have Carmella, but I just look at quality in the ring. I like Carmella's gimmick as a character. Mm-hmm. It's solid, but it's not anything that's when she gets in the ring, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do now? You know, it's like it's more flash than substance, and I want more substance especially when it comes to the women, so we can get quality, work out of these guys. But there's definitely people you can build up on, but honestly, it's like who the fuck else am I gonna throw in there? Same with you. It's just like Bailey and Sasha. It's like who the fuck else are you gonna get there? Throw in Nia Jax in there? No, I'm not gonna do that. Like,
if Nia Jax could work like Awesome Kong or whatever, then
maybe, but no,
she can't.
She works like a legitimate fucking God. What is that store we always make fun of her for?
Lane Bryant.
Lane Bryant, yeah, like a Lane Bryant employee that just stepped into a ring.
She's
thankful that she's related to The Rock. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So right now we're at our interpromotional match, right? We did 2
Oh
matches?
shit, you're correct. Yes, that's 2 each. So we're going to go into our interpromotional mystery match, ladies and gentlemen.
Neither one of us know, so.
Neither one of us know.
You want to do a 1, 2, 3 and then say the name and then just look at each other and be like, are we fucking kidding?
Yeah, we can do
that.
Oh
shit, okay.
Okay, so this is our interpromotional mystery match is how I coined it.
We just flip a coin to see who wins? Are you?
Well, we're going to see who we have and then we're going to book it from that point. Then this will be the only like pre-booked match, or not our double booked match where we actually book between it. So we wanted to take one person from Raw, one person from SmackDown, have no fucking idea who they're going to face, and also, like, in real life, like, on our roster, not real life, but in the fantasy world that we're booking here, neither of their people would have a clue who they're facing.
Right.
So it would just be picked at random as who it would be. I mean, obviously, if you were watching the show and see lead-ins to feuds and notice that some people weren't included in the feuds, then maybe you could end up assuming that.
Right.
We'd have the GMs maybe come out and have, Angle and Bryan come out or something. That'd be kind of cool. And then be like, oh, we're gonna wrestle. No, and then
God.
and then introduce the people. Okay, you ready?
Oh jeez.
Okay, here we go. So we're gonna name mine. He's gonna name his. Here we go.
Are we doing full names if they have a full name?
Yeah, full name.
Okay.
That scares me.
Okay.
Jesus, they don't have a full name. They gotta throw out there. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Roman
John
Reigns.
Cena.
Oh God!
Oh, what? Oh, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we create fucking magic. So we're going to have John Cena versus Roman Reigns for our fucking SummerSlam show. And this works out fucking beautifully, because Roman Reigns would have to go over in this fucking match. With what I'm going to get to later on, this works fucking beautifully. So this is perfectly booked by us. So we're going to have John Cena and Roman Reigns in what a lot of casual fans would be their fucking dream match.
Yeah.
That we've never seen before. This match has never happened, and I think it's a great time to have it fucking go down. You have Roman Reigns, who's been classifying himself as the big dog that runs the yard, and John Cena, who's after the Undertaker leaves, John Cena is really that established guy that is the leader of the old school kind of guy. I can't call John Cena an old school kind of guy, but the leader of the last sort of generation of guys. And have him go in there against Roman Reigns. That's pretty fucking magical mystery booking right there.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a solid fucking match, honestly. I think they would make that work pretty fucking
I almost used Braun Strowman.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm so happy. Well, I mean, Roman Reigns and Strowman's talents or whatever, but I think they could make that actually a pretty solid matchup. But I would actually give the win to you. I want to give the win to you. So, for future things that's going to be going down, I'm going to give the win to Roman Reigns, and we're going to make it clean. And we're going to have John Cena be kind of distraught after this matchup. John Cena, very distraught John Cena.
Going with your feud.
Going with this, and we're going to continue it going on here. So John Cena and Roman Reigns, our interpromotional mystery match.
Oh shit!
Look at that shit. We just made so many casual fans so fucking happy right there, and we didn't even know that we did it.
Jizz.
There you go. That's how it works. That's for our casual fans.
I literally picked Roman Reigns 5 minutes before we started.
Yeah, he was seriously contemplating. I'm like, don't give me fucking Curtis Axel. Just give me somebody good.
There was a couple
somebody
people,
decent that can make it.
There was a couple people I had in mind, like The Miz and Dean Ambrose and Braun Strowman, but those are people I wasn't not even using on any of my storylines.
Yeah.
So I was just like, just randomly throw Roman Reigns. I haven't used him for like 2 months.
Yeah.
I guess just throw him on there.
It works perfect, and we're going to give him a win over John Cena at SummerSlam, the second biggest show of the year. So that worked out perfectly. So Roman Reigns getting the win in the promotional mystery match over John Cena. So I'd be now to your match.
Okay.
Because, yeah, that's right.
Okay, so here is the... So this goes off the thing I was talking about earlier with Raw, with when Joe and Lesnar had the rematch when Baylor didn't show up until the end. Kaz comes out. So leading into this, at my Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, I had that four-way tag match, and then I had Big Kaz get frustrated, destroy everyone, basically split away from Enzo, create his own not his own persona, but just kind of be that Staten Island kind of, Enzo and Kaz character,
right.
but in a main event singles type of level. And I think Big Kaz can talk. I think he's a pretty good worker in the ring for a big guy. I think with the right guys in the ring, he could be very good. And he even with but just some more work and really with the right guidance and the right gimmick going forward in real life, not in this fantasy booking, could be really good. With this, I wanted to push that whole idea. So with this, he had him destroy all those people at Great Balls of Fire. Then he comes out and on Raw, and he's basically talking about how he's done with Enzo, and he can't get wins with him, and he needs to step up and move to that next level, and he's ready to make an impact and start taking out start facing guys that are more up the card, and he wants to that main event push, and he's calling for it. He wants it. He's hungry. So then on that match, that Joe Lesnar match, he comes out. And basically, so Joe doesn't get a clean win on Lesnar twice, but does get a win on him. Kaz comes out, hits him with a big boot, whole ordeal. Joe hits the whatever. I mean, I would love to see Joe do a muscle buster on Lesnar, but that shit would never happen. Throw him the coquina clutch, make him pass out or something. Not have him be pinned, just make him pass out or something. After this, I talked how Heyman was distraught. He was, had his head down. He walked up the ramp, left Lesnar laying out there. Basically, cuts this promo about how the next big thing deal. And Kaz cuts his hair. I think I want to just call him Kaz. Yeah. Make him cleaner. Refer to him. Have Heyman. My name is Paul Heyman, and this is the Staten Island Stud, or something. You know what I mean? Like that was the first thing I could come up with. Almost to the idea of kind of making him like Razor Ramon a little bit.
Not keep his hair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could keep it long and kind of make it, but I don't want to make him Razor Ramon.
Yeah, I guess that's
I want to make him kind of like that. I don't want to make him that douchey, like Robbie E type of character, or like what are those Jersey Shore type of Josie type of character. I want to make him like a
mob boss,
like a mob boss guy, kind of like just a
hard ass
mob boss guy, and he has his right hand man Heyman who was cutting promos for him. I think Heyman,
because Heyman's from New York too, so
right? Yeah, and that works, and I think Heyman could be pushing and promoting up and coming guys until he's dead.
Yeah,
like he could be out there in a wheelchair, 90 years old, cutting promos for guys.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, anything to get these guys over. So I'm gonna have Kaz and Lesnar in a match here, and have them against each other, and I think this is where, and I think a lot of fans would be okay with this. It's funny because there's a lot of guys on the internet, there's a lot of people on the internet that are hardcore wrestling affiliates that say guys like the Young Bucks are killing the wrestling business, but what's the things that are killing the wrestling business are having these big fight guys come in just for 6 or 7 matches a year, just to pimp their pay-per-view, beating their main roster guys who work their ass off, and then taking the title with them all year. That's bullshit, and as far as I'm concerned. And if I was booking this company, and if I was booking any company, that would never happen. As far as I'm concerned, I know indie companies kind of do that with popular indie guys. They bring them in, have them win the title, but this is a different kind of beast. There's so much you could do. There's so much talent in the wrestling world that would die to be in the WWE. They would die. They would literally just cut their own hand off to wrestle for WWE. And you have a guy like Lesnar who I feel like doesn't give a shit. He's there for the paycheck, and that's the thing. He's the big fight feel. He's the Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather guy. They put him in there, and they put him against anybody that remotely stacks up against him. Well, this is where it ends for me, because as far as I'm concerned, as a 27-year-old wrestling fan that's been watching wrestling since the 90s, I'm done with this. Like, after watching Joe Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire, I'm done. I'm literally done with Brock Lesnar. I don't think he should be in the wrestling business at all. I think he lowers the quality of the wrestling product, and he's just a face. for buyers.
And he's taking a big space up.
He's taking a big space up for a guy that could be your next guy. And I saw something recently about WWE struggling to create main event guys. This is an issue. You want to have this guy be for major shows, but he just doesn't do anything.
They say they're struggling to make it, but they are a victim of their own struggle. They don't pull the trigger on it. They never do it.
They're afraid to do it.
Like, well, we have this guy. We can't do anything wrong with him. It's like, you're never going to Lesnar's not going to be here for fucking another 10 years. Like, these guys are. Like, these guys that are working their ass off are. And he's absolutely right. That is what's killing, especially WWE.
Right.
Sure, right.
I'm not going to... like I said, I'm not going to have, if I was booking, have Reigns face Lesnar at WrestleMania, which is probably what we're going to get this year. Next year, I guess. But I'm just going to have Big Cass win here and take the heat. Take the heat off of Lesnar. Take Lesnar's manager and put a guy in there that could be there for potentially the next 10 to 15 years. 10 years at least. And, having main event matches. Having a guy who can cut promos, who's big, that they like, who's on the main roster, that they're splitting, I'm splitting off a tag team, have him look strong here, don't have Lesnar look bad, but have this be where Big Cass makes that jump to the main event and really push him. And that's what I would do here. And this match is I'm not going to make it incredibly special or great. I don't think they could in real life have a great match, but I think I want to make it look tough and powerful. Yeah. Have these guys throw each other around and stuff here. And I think... Kaz getting the win here over Lesnar is what I'm going to do, and I don't know if I would want to do it completely clean or not clean.
Yeah, fuck it, do it clean.
Yeah, I mean not completely clean as in a sense like he cheats, but almost like Heyman kind of is there distracting a little bit.
Yeah.
And he gets the big boot a couple times and then gets the pin that way. Yeah. Not like he gets a chair or he low blows him or anything like that. Just having Heyman kind of like be there and be a little bit of a distraction.
So. You would turn Lesnar face, I'm assuming?
In a sense,
or
yes.
He'd just be kind of like a Stone Cold face?
He would just kind of be... Yes, he would be a face, and that would be hard because the fans would want to continue to see him.
Right.
Because you kill off a...
Because you don't want to run into, WrestleMania 20 scenario where everybody knows he's leaving and something, something along those lines.
I think that... I don't even think he would be face here. Yeah. I think I would still just have him be Brock Lesnar, be like a dick, be like a dickish heel, and just be like, I don't need Heyman and all this. I don't need the WWE. This is not important to me. I'm here for the money, and just make him like that. You know what I mean? And make the fans be like, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? And almost like have the fans want Kaz to win, want Kaz to just.
But Kaz is a heel. You want to establish him as a heel.
I want to establish him as a heel, but I want him to be... I want the fans to... you know how fans love heels. Certain fans love heels and stuff, and the casual fan won't love the heel, obviously because of what happened, but it's a weird dynamic, because I do want to send
That's
off...
what I would just say.
I do want to send off Lesnar, and I don't...
I would just say it's a tough dynamic just to get over, because I think if that match happened in, it's just... Because I'm just trying to think the dynamics of... I guess... having him be heel just in a casual, big WWE pay-per-view, you just don't want to lose the crowd to where they don't give a shit about anybody.
Right.
What I mean?
And
you kind of want him to...
And I think there will be a... I think... If I was...
I don't think it would be a problem to have Lesnar just kind of be a badass.
Yeah, just be a badass face, tweener. But not really. Be a tweener, kind of, yeah. I think that would be fine to be a tweener. Yeah. I think as the casual fan, they will lean towards Lesnar, obviously. Yeah. But as the fan, I
think you need to establish this match as Lesnar looking like he's the favorite, I would say. Yeah. But not to the point where Cass looks like he's outmatched.
You
do want to make it look like a surprise that it's a win over Lesnar?
Yes, because it kind of to me feels like when Lesnar came in and beat The Rock for the title.
That's what I was just going to say, because this is perfect symmetry and symbolism, because it's 15 years after that.
Yeah, I want it to feel like a guy is taking a guy's spot.
Yeah,
and I think that's a key component. That's a key component to me not wanting to see Lesnar anymore. Is find somebody that is a big guy that Heyman could jump in there and be and then kind of send Lesnar off. And I mean, I guess I could send him off, maybe not forever, but send him off for a period of time.
Right.
You know,
so if there's something is fresh.
And if I do bring him in, I'm not going to make him my champion.
Yeah.
If I build someone up and want to have a big fight feel at WrestleMania, I could bring him in and have him face someone at WrestleMania, and not for the title,
right,
not
just
for
in a match.
Yeah, just in a match against somebody. Yeah. He doesn't need to be the champion, and that's why I took the title off him anyway. But I want somebody like Cass to take that heat off of him and get a good big win.
And
the
symbolism is really, really solid there because, like I said, it's 15 years after the 2002 SummerSlam where Lesnar beat Rock and took a spot, and you had the new guy come in, and having Cass be that guy, especially with Heyman by his side now, the symbolism is pretty solid there, and I think the build is solid, and that would infinitely make it because I think Cass has potential to be something special. I'm not on board as much as Ryan is, I would say, but I think doing something like that would definitely get me on board with like, okay, let's see what's going down here because they're obviously investing something in Cass, and let's see if he could fill those shoes because it's a big that's a lot of stuff to fill.
You think WWE is just afraid to pull the trigger on guys? Just to see what they're, because I think, well, was it Wayne Gretzky somebody said something like you miss 100% of shots you don't take or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, if you're afraid to pull a trigger on a guy and let him jump to that main event, that's the thing that people talk about so much is being held back in the wrestling business or whatever. If you don't give a guy the opportunity to show what he can do, you're never gonna know. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
and it's just so much with WWE being, the global fucking juggernaut and just all about just the spoke on the wheel type of deal with a lot of things where it's just like they're just focused on the larger picture and things like this and guys that are well this brings that into here because they put it's like you gotta look toward the future and you can't just look day to day and month. You gotta see like okay, well who the hell are these guys gonna be if these guys aren't gonna be here in 5 to 10 years? We need to start making this fucking talent and making them look strong, and that would definitely be a way to do it. My next matchup here, I'm going to have the SmackDown Tag Titles on the line, and I'm going to have it in a ladder match. I'm continuing the feud with the Usos and American Alpha here. I would fucking love to see this match. I would continue the thing to where Usos are doing their hard fucking gimmick like I've talked about, their heel gimmick, cutting promos out in the streets and shit and doing whatever the hell. Like, continuing that. American Alpha are going to kick up the intensity a little bit, like two young fucking Angles, basically. Kurt Angles, and they're going to challenge the Usos to a ladder match. They said, we've seen classic tag team ladder matches in the future. We know how talented both of us are team-wise or whatever, and we want to go out there and showcase our talent and show the world what American Alpha is all about. And I think you guys, and like coming to them straight and saying, I think you guys want to go out there and show what the Usos are all about. Put all this bullshit aside and let's go out there and, let's whoop some fucking ass. And the Usos are still being, like, dickish, like, hey, whatever, we'll fucking do whatever we want. We've been in these matches before, we'll take your asses out or whatever. And, yeah, I would want this to be a fucking awesome-ass, match. Spots galore. You could have them do some actual mat wrestling to beginning portions of this and obviously get into the ladder spots later on. And I am going to put American Alpha over here to have them, win the tag titles. And have them have a solid run with the tag titles here, and hopefully having this high marquee of a gimmick match on a huge pay-per-view, obviously the second biggest WWE pay-per-view. I think it puts a lot of more eyes on American Alpha without as we've seen in the past where they were just kind of doing shit and it wasn't working to the NXT level. But I think if you really just fucking pull the trigger and let these guys have this shot and give them tag titles, have it be in a great match and a ladder match that people will be talking about. Hopefully,
let Alpha do promos and segments.
Exactly, that's what I
connect with them.
That's what I said. Yeah, leading into Battleground, have Chad Gable show his charismatic, entertaining side and let him do the Ready, Willing, and Gable and have him work off of Jordan, where Jordan's kind of the more serious guy and kind of just like, God, Chad Gable, you're just such a dork. Like all the like have them do that and have him interact with the fans and things like that, like we saw in NXT. Obviously, you don't have the same crowd NXT is on the main roster with the more casual fans and things like that. But I think you could still connect that way. But just like we said, pull the fucking trigger and give these guys some time with the titles, because that's probably what I would do here, and let them have solid matches with teams here and there. I would still continue stuff with the Usos because I love the Usos. I love what they're doing with this heel gimmick. I'm really a fan of both of these teams immensely. But I'm going to give American Alpha the titles here in a ladder match that hopefully would be a classic style tag team ladder match, which I know me and Ryan are both huge fans of. So
that's what's up. I would totally love to see that.
Yeah, be fucking
for
awesome.
real. That'd be crazy. Okay, so I have a quick segment here I wanted to do. So over the last week, I was deciding between this match and the match I'm going to do next. On which one I wanted to actually put on the card, but with this one I decided to put this in as a segment instead. Just because I wanted to continue it. It'll be real quick, but I just want to throw it in here. So the Hardys and the Wyatts, I decided not have them have another match not have them have a match on SummerSlam. What I wanted to do was take this whole storyline and this angle and start turning it and making it comedic, almost to the level of like how TNA did the Hardys. Yeah. So basically what I wanted to do was have this one-upsman who can top this be crazier thing. And basically it just starts this thing between Bray Wyatt and Brother Bo Wyatt and the Hardys, where each week on Raw, instead of them having crazy matches, they just start doing crazy things. Like not like jackass crazy type of stuff, but just like I'll do this and you won't, and they're like, oh yeah, well we'll do this, we'll jump off this, or we'll go skydiving and you won't, and blah blah blah, and we'll do this, and you're not as crazy and you're not broken like me, and blah blah blah, and Wyatt's like, no yeah, blah blah blah, and they just start doing crazy stuff, and so what it is, I have this setup for the Sheamus Heartbreak Pub.
Oh Jesus, there it is.
Yeah, where he comes out, he's already liquored up, he's ready to go, he's ready to do his whole segment, and I have the Hardys and the Wyatts out there in a 2-on-2 who can drink the most beer competition.
Oh Jesus.
Who can down the most beers without getting sick. And they're gonna have all these beers lined up in a row, and the Hardys are gonna be drinking beers, and who can drink the most beers, and they're gonna be legit beers, and they're gonna drink, and whoever can drink the most beers out of the other team, and we're gonna make it like a speed drink. We're not gonna make it like drink one, take a break, drink it, go. They're just gonna go against each other and see who can drink the most beers. And I'm gonna have the Wyatts win here. They clearly drink more beer.
Wyatts go over.
Wyatts go over and drink more beer here. I was gonna continue this and make this like hardcore badass, but I already have an angle. I already have something that's kind of dark and eerie and crazy with Finn Balor. So I didn't want to overload it with that, but I did want to continue this thing with Sheamus with his show, and have the Hardys just...
Has Cesaro found a partner yet?
He has.
Oh, shit.
And this is actually one of my favorite things that I've come up with. I am really excited about this. So this goes on to my next match, okay? Yeah. So this has a little bit of a setup as well. On the Great Balls of Fire thing, I didn't have anything set up for the Revival, but I did have them win the titles. Mm-hmm. The Revival come out, cut a promo saying how we're not going to be like everybody else in the tag team divisions. You know, we're not going to do this whole shtick where we're going to just do whatever it takes to hold on to these belts. We want real competition. We want to face guys that are real competition. And you know, they're gonna be heels, and they're gonna be like they are now. I really want to make them like Ole and Arn Anderson, badass heel type of guys. They want the competitiveness, they want the competition. So they set up a tournament. They ask for a tournament, a 4-team tournament that's going to involve Rhino and Heath Slater, Luke Gallows and Anderson, Cesaro and his partner of his choice.
Okay.
And I didn't think this far. I was trying to come up with another tag team.
And another team.
Another random team.
Whatever.
Yeah, they're not important. So I'm going to have Gallows and Anderson beat Heath Slater and Rhino. And then Cesaro, since he hadn't had a partner, he's been trying to find a partner. He's been trying to find someone that can match up with him, that's going to do well with him. He's scoured the roster. He's trying to find a new partner, someone that, you know, he wants that tag team gold. He wants he wants that competitive edge. And I even struggled for a minute to try to find someone, and it just like clicked with me. I was just like, this would be really cool. Like, and it would almost be like Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, and that's what I'm going to put Noam Dar with Cesaro. And the idea is they're like they're like the Swiss Superman and the Scottish Supernova. Okay, so the idea is
they're supernova men.
Yeah, or the Supernova Supermen. I struggled with coming up with a cool name for them. I was gonna do like something super basic but like look real edgy. Yep. Something like S2 or S4.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like S something. So I think I think the best one I wanted to come up with is like S4, like the Swiss Superman and the Scottish Supernova. Okay. And I wanted them to do the whole matching gear type thing, but I wanted them to I wanted it to be very, very much with the Revival and with S4 very team oriented. I wanted it to feel very, very team oriented. I wanted it to be like where they were themselves, but the team was important.
Right. And
I'm gonna have S4 win their match against their tag team, and then have S4 beat Gallows and Anderson. And so this is what I came up with, and I think this would be absolutely incredible if WWE could do this, if they could make this a real thing. Is make this feud very much like a college basketball feud, or like a pro football Monday Night Football rivalry feud, like the Colts and the Pats.
Right.
I was gonna have Cesaro and Dar have like wear like almost like soccer type jerseys.
Yeah.
But they represent that, like they say S4 on them, and they have like their names
name
on the back. And the Revival, they're doing their same thing. They're not doing anything different. And have it be this really big deal where each week leading up to the pay-per-view for them to face each other, you have the Revival in a match against the team, and then S4's backstage watching it, and they're studying them, and then Revival gets a win, and then S4 has a match, and then they're back there watching, and then start this whole thing on Twitter where it's like, they start trying to garner fans from each other, and they start being like, on Twitter they have people being like, oh, Revival's so much better than S4. They're going to totally whip their ass at SummerSlam. Hashtag Team Revival. Then the other one's going to be like, blah, 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 blah. Hashtag Team S4. And then I'm going to keep Alicia Fox with Noam Dar and Cesaro. I'm going to put Summer Rae with the Revival. Okay. We're going to lead up. We're going to have this whole thing.
And it's Nia Jax with them.
Oh, God. That would be fucking random. Hardboy, motherfucker. It'd be super random. And I want to make it very much like a team versus team sports rivalry.
That's interesting.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them talk shit on each other, talking about how they're my team, or we're a better team than you are, and it's not going to be like this whole we're going to jump you backstage type thing. It's the who's the better team.
Right.
And the idea is goes into the match. They have. Before, if I could set this up, it would be incredible. And if WWE could do it and they could really get their fans to play up to it, it would be insane. I would have one side of the arena, I would hand out Revival section things. And on the other side, I would hand out S4 sections. And then I would have Alicia Fox on one side, Summer Rae on the other side, almost like they're cheerleaders. Yeah. And like clapping and getting the crowd all hyped up.
Yeah.
And then I would almost even have on the Titantrons, have it in red letters say "Let's go Revival," and then blue letters right after say "Let's go S4," and have like almost like a soccer match, like an international soccer match, or like a real time
sports
rivalry team. In this match, is 2 out of 3 falls.
Nice. Okay.
So it's one team gets the one fall, one team gets the other fall, and then at the end, I'm gonna have S4 win.
Okay.
I'm gonna have them win the titles. I think it's. I wanted to make this seem like a really big, almost, and I kept coming back to like a Final Four college basketball type of thing where you don't know what's going on, and making it 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
Just being like that last fall is super intense,
yeah.
And the crowd's hyped up, and you got both sides holding the section signs, Revival side and Team Revival and Team S4. And they, Revival comes out in their matching gear and their matching shirts, and then, S4 comes out in their matching, like, almost like soccer jerseys with their S4 logo and their names on the back. And, I just wanted to make it super team-based.
That's cool. That's really interesting.
And this was one of the ideas that I came up with, and I was like, man, this is really cool.
It's different.
It is, and I wanted to make it the tag team match and the tag team division, at least for this, seemed really important.
Also is, I think the best way to do it was like camera side. You know how WWE uses different like color lighting whenever we go to shows, and you could put the like red, and you could almost make the sections look that way too.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
I wanted to make it seem like I said, seem really important to make it the rivalry and make the match itself seem like a really big deal. Maybe even have the spotlight come down and have the ref holding the titles up, having both teams right next to each other while the spotlight's down, and just I want to make it like a really big time sports feud.
Yeah,
feel.
That's interesting.
And that's how I think that I feel like they could really revive the tag team division if they make it feel like sports teams facing each other. Don't put Sheamus and Cesaro together, two guys that don't make no sense, or and Goldust and R-Truth together, and these teams that don't make any sense. They're not a tag team. They're just two guys thrown together. There's no chemistry. There's no tag team connection with them.
Right. It makes zero sense together.
Right, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And I think the whole sports angle with the team being important and us being that's something I think that should be totally looked for, at least in the tag team division, instead of these just random popular guys thrown together. I mean, I'm not saying much, but they take teams that are really good, and they have one really hot member, and they split them up, and then they take the one guy and they blow him up, and then they take the other guy and he just kind of falls down. But as a team, they're great together because they can't create stars and stuff. So they just take guys out of tag teams and just try to build guys that way. If you have a solidified good tag team, let them run as the tag team for a while. Like, tag team division used to be so hot in the 80s and so hot in the popular 90s. The hot tag? Are you kidding me? The hot tag. And making that, I want to play up to the hot tag so hard in this match.
Yeah.
But I want this match to be so heated. I want the crowd to be so into this, and just have the section played up to each other and just like, my side's better than your side, and suck it, and blah blah. And that's in my mind. That's how I envisioned it if I was to book it. Hopefully, how to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I think we both did a good job of, again, not booking, but booking well to be different, because he had, with the Sasha and the Bayley match, the hardcore First Blood match, I had the more standard classic style wrestling match. You have the classic style wrestling match with a cool little hybrid thing going on with it, with the team aspect in the tag match, and then I have a ladder match with the tag match, which focuses a different portion. So it's focusing talents in the proper ways, which is the way things should be done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the match that, going into this pay-per-view, I would be the absolute most excited for. I haven't seen the rest of Ryan's card, but for me, on my personal side, this would be my matchup. I have Kevin Owens going up against El Generico in a Hell in a Cell match for the United States Championship. Basically, so this was a match that I probably had booked in my mind going into this entire idea. My thought process is, okay, we're sitting down, we're booking something. If I were to take over this roster and I had control of 2 months of booking, what would I want to get done?
That's how I thought too. I was like, in sense of also just trying to create guys as well, but like, if this is our one shot go,
I'm
like,
getting this done.
To put something together, like, you would definitely want to put some really good stuff together.
Exactly. And it's like, what do I want to get done? What do I want to give guys that we have loved for so long the opportunity to shine and to focus on, and to let them stake their claim as guys that can go down in history as have, a fucking classic ass match. Now, I told you the booking about this. I debuted in WWE El Generico the SmackDown before SummerSlam. Going into this match, it was, I don't really know when I would put the Hell in a Cell gimmick on it. I would probably already have it probably in the weeks leading into that, but I would have this added on with Generico coming back in. This is one thing we didn't talk about music, but I think that music would be a key part of both me and Ryan's usage of our rosters. Changing the theme songs that they have for pay-per-views and shit and bullshit that it's like every Flow Rida song known to fucking man and Pitbull and all this bullshit.
You're right.
We would obviously change that up. But obviously the usage of themes and promo package videos and music and that, we didn't get to that, but that would be something that would be really key because we wanted to focus on really the people, but stuff like that. But I think, Ryan would definitely use that, and we both love fucking music. It's probably outside of wrestling, it's our number one passion outside of that. So I think it would be so fucking cool to make Kevin Owens' favorite band of all time. It's pretty, if you follow Kevin Owens, his favorite band of all time is Guns N' Roses. I think it'd be so goddamn cool to get Guns N' Roses to play Kevin Owens to the fucking ring in this fucking match. It would be so badass to fucking do this. But one thing I want to do is I want to have El Generico come out. He's in his gimmick. He's very serious. He's the dark version of El Generico that we saw in the 2010 feud with Kevin Steen that I'm obviously pulling from here. Another shade that I didn't talk about going into this when I debuted El Generico was, I don't know if you remember Royal Rumble 2000 where Triple H was going into a match with Mick Foley and he re-debuted Cactus Jack. And Triple H just had this expression on his face where he's like, oh shit, like he knows what he's getting into. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people really don't because they didn't see Cactus Jack a lot at that point. So a lot of the same things where Steen knows what he's getting into, but he's not backing down from the challenge. He knows what El Generico has brought to the table. They have had amazing matches and the feuds in the past, and their tag team, we would involve all of that into this. I would throw everything into this fucking feud and into this match because, like I said before, if I had the opportunity, I want to give these guys an opportunity to go out there in arguably the biggest gimmick match of all time, which is the Hell in a Cell, and stake their claim and let them go out there and make some history and go out there and say, hey, there's been the classics with Taker and Shawn and the Shawn and Trips and all the fucking classic, or not Shawn and Tripp. Well, yeah, Shawn and Tripp did have one, but like Shawn and Taker and all the classic fucking Hell in a Cells, the Foley and or Mankind and Taker, the classics down the road. I want to give them an opportunity to go in there in one of the most classic gimmicks of all time. Who knows if we're ever going to see it in real time? I think we probably will, but if we take it over, I want to fucking see this match. This is the one match that's not like a dream match because we've seen it, but dream scenario to put these guys in this fucking match.
On a main stage.
On a main stage, on the second biggest show of the year, and stake their claim in this fucking match.
So arguably one of the best feuds in the last 10 years.
Oh, easily. Yeah. Without a doubt. And if you haven't followed up on that stuff, if you don't know about this feud, where it's gone, you need to go check that stuff back out. And 5-6 years ago from Ring of Honor, it's fucking amazing shit. But what I would also do is I would change the Hell in a Cell. I'm bringing back the smaller, more confined Hell in a Cell structure, not the big ass warehouse fucking Hell in a Cell that's like 20 something feet tall. It feels like they're fighting inside of a warehouse. It doesn't even feel like they're confined or restricted or anything. I'm bringing back the one where if you go back and watch the Randy Orton Undertaker Hell in a Cell, where Randy Orton goes up to the top rope and literally can grab the top of the fucking cell. It feels confining. It feels like you're bringing all of this feud into this fucking structure, and you're confining all of this, the hate and the fucking everything into this fucking structure and trapping it all, and only one man can walk out. So I'm bringing that back, taking that bullshit away, the huge ass fucking structure away. Like I said, I think it'd be fucking awesome if I could have Guns N' Roses play fucking Kevin Owens to the ring, because I think he would fucking love it. I'd let him pick whatever fucking song he would want to do, because I think it'd be fucking cool. Because I don't want to make Kevin Owens look like inferior to El Generico re-debuting, because people will be all over that. I would have El Generico start this match on the top of the cell, the same way that Mankind did in 1998. I want him to straight fucking book his ass straight up there, bring a fucking chair, throw the fucking chair up there, and I want to have their classic every time they lock up and start punching each other on top of the fucking cell to start this fucking match.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be fucking insane. So I'd have that. They would just work all over the fucking place, do whatever the hell they want. I would give this obviously like 20 plus fucking minutes. I would have Kevin Owens come out with an old school Ring of Honor Steen and Generico shirt. I would want to tie all of this shit together to where it comes full circle to this feud. We've seen the cliffs and valleys of this feud, but we finally reached the fucking Everest, and we've gotten to the point where in WWE, it's for a WWE championship. It's in the biggest gimmick match that WWE has to offer in a Hell in a Cell, where the hugest names have staked their claim in history and their careers. This would be the fucking Everest of that feud, because I think we still haven't even gotten to it yet. You know, we've had the amazing matches they've had, the ladder wars and the fights without honors and all this kind of shit. This is the pinnacle of it. And they would obviously go out there and put on a fucking classic match, and it would be fucking balls out insanity. Trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything that I wanted to book into this match. I know the one thing that I would do is definitely incorporate blood. We already talked about the first blood match. We would have that. I would have Generico have his fucking mask ripped up and shit. I would have El Generico go over in this Hell in a Cell match to win the United States Championship, and I would have him hit a fucking top rope brainbuster. Because why the fuck wouldn't I have El Generico hit a fucking brainbuster on Kevin Owens? That's the only way to have him fucking win this match. If I could do a fucking package pile driver, I would have fucking Kevin Owens hit a package pile driver in this fucking match. You can incorporate ladders, you can incorporate tables, you can do whatever the hell they want to do. Just go out there and just do not fucking just unhinge these guys. Let them do whatever the hell they want. Let them creatively go out there and just put on a fucking awesome match and stake their claim in this historic matchup that I think we could bring back. Because I think we would both, in agreement, take away the gimmick-style pay-per-views where you have to book around a Hell in a Cell or book around a TLC. Because I just think it's better when it's spontaneous. And it's like, oh shit, there's going to be a Hell in a Cell. We had no idea. Unlike every October when we know we're going to get 2 fucking Hell in a Cell matches. Make it spontaneous. Make it out of nowhere. Like, oh shit, this is finally fucking happening. Yeah, so I would definitely have that happen. And I think the biggest key here is what we've talked about with Sami Zayn, because I think Kevin Owens has got himself over. I think this, in turn, turning Sami Zayn into El Generico and bringing that character in, infinitely helps El Generico get over. It's what we've said. I mean, the kids could get onto him. He would bring back his fun, loving, joyful ways, you know, after this feud, but we want to have this feud be very serious.
What if you made him like Mick Foley? What if you made him like...
I can tie that in. Because
he's got like different kind of faces where he just kind of he's Sami Zayn and he's kind of himself, and then he's El Generico, which is kind of like the Mankind kind of thing.
True.
And then, I mean, you'd have to create one more
maybe
character for him or something,
right?
Or maybe just have him just be like a split, just 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a cool idea. But also Sami Zayn having that history with Foley back on Raw, how they tied in all that stuff. You could tie that into Generico. You could tie in Generico saying, you know, one of my, you know, idols or heroes or whatever growing up, Mick Foley, Mankind, what he did in this matchup, I want to go out there and I want to stake my claim, you know, in this matchup. And that's really what it's about. It's about having the opportunity to book something like this. This is the fucking match I would want. I would want this fucking Hell in a Cell match. I want them to go out there and have an opportunity to get in this match and see what the fuck they can do and have it go fucking balls out insane. I would fucking love to see it. Ryan would love to see it. Everybody would love to see it. It would be some great fucking stuff. El Generico comes out of the Hell in a Cell with the United States Championship, new champion. It would probably be fucking insane. I would hope it would be fucking insane. But I would make this a very, very big deal. I would pimp it hardcore, the promo packages, bringing up the history of the Hell in a Cell, bringing Hell in a Cell back to relevance and not have it be just a gimmick anymore. It's very serious. It's very where shit goes down type of deal, and that's what I want to bring back here. And, you know, if I'm booking this shit, this is what I'm booking. El Generico over Kevin Owens inside Hell in a Cell.
That's pretty legit. Yeah, I would. Oh my god, that'd be so crazy.
Especially bringing in the El Generico, bringing in El Generico and bringing that character back in, bringing it into WWE. I think it helps get over, because Sami Zayn, I think, is gonna reach a point to where it's just like, okay, that's what he's gonna get to. El Generico has infinite potential and possibility inside WWE with kids and all of us casual fans. It doesn't matter. He could get over because in ring he's great. He's joyful and fun. The character is fucking there. You know, you have your Rey Mysterio-esque kind of thing with you know, the casual fans that they could attach onto. But you have this feud that has so much history, and that's one thing that I love when WWE actually does is actually brings up history of guys that have had things down the road, and they did that with Owens and Zayn in NXT, and we would definitely be doing that here and be tying all that stuff in. So it would be some great stuff, and I'd love to fucking see this. We would so love to fucking see this, and hopefully it will happen in real life, and we'll get a Hell in a Cell match with Owens and Zayn down the road, because they deserve to stake their claim in that matchup. They've had amazing feuds, and this would be one of them in WWE at the pinnacle of it. So that's what I've got there.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. For sure. All right, so on to my main event. So I got the my Universal title match here, Joe versus Baylor. So I know this is like a rehashed thing that happened in NXT, and some of the matches were just kind of blah and whatever. But the main thing about this is we know both these guys can work, and part of me feels like they kind of lazily moved around in NXT. I don't feel like they went up to the full potential of what they could do. I think in a main spot like this for the title on a SummerSlam, it could be really, really good, and especially with this idea and this storyline I have going. So we talked about in my Great Balls of Fire thing how I wanted to make Baylor like Sting almost, have him be a little more darker. I want to make him very very messy. I want to make him very bloody almost. Not himself bloody, but I want to.
How are you just stabbing himself in the
No, but I want to make one of his things that happens with his character and his storyline is whenever Joe's cutting a promo or he's doing a segment. You know how you see in a horror movie, a random scene's happening and then you see like a little drop of blood fall on someone's forehead, or like some little droplets of blood fall on someone on their arm or on their forehead, and then it just kind of trickles down and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, I'm gonna have that be a thing where Joe's cutting promos and doing segments and things happening, and then just like,
"Fuck that blood on my face, bro! The fuck?
The fuck is that shit, bro? You get blood on my face? Somebody just shoot me, motherfucker!" He'll look up and there won't be nothing there. There'll be no blood anywhere. There'll just be fucking a blood droplet fall on his head. Oh god. So I'm gonna make Finn Balor very supernatural.
Do you remember when Stone Cold got that, when he was in that feud with Kane? It was before, I want to say it was before like King of the Ring in '98, where he just bloodbath fucking, and then Stone Cold was wearing this like white Stone Cold jersey, and they just dropped fucking blood on top of him. It was just because they had a first blood match. That pay-per-view. Oh my god, I remember that. That's what I was thinking of. I was like, you just get blood just drop on top of him or whatever.
And I could even do that or whatever. But I'm gonna make Baylor incognito. He's gonna not be present for
very Sting-like.
Yeah, he's gonna randomly show up. You'll catch a glimpse of him for 5 seconds. Just post it up somewhere. It would be really hilarious if he just like you. It would not make sense with the feud, but it would be really funny if throughout the show they just do this Where's Waldo thing, where just like Baylor's just randomly just standing, just staring at the ring. It's just like random places around the arena.
He's just like front row sitting there.
Just have him not talk, not
just in full demon gear.
Yeah, just full demon.
Like, who's that dude dressed up like Baylor? Oh shit, it's Baylor.
Yeah,
just full demon gear, just chilling, eating popcorn.
Yeah, just have him
drinking blood.
Just in the middle of the match, just standing on the top turnbuckle. Just in the middle of a match, just staring at the movie. That'd be crazy.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
But no, I'm not going to do that. But that would be really funny. And have it be that. Have Joe just blow steam, man. Cut promos. Get really angry and freak out and say, this is not right. And I'm the real champion. And have Baylor, have his own version. You know how Stone Cold had his own version of the Smoking Skull type of title. This one's going to be like that. But
Demon Skull title.
Yeah, it's going to have a demon on it.
Bloody demon.
Bloody demon. It's going to be, look like the Universal, not look like Universal title, but it's
color.
It's going to be a red strap, and it's going to be his own version of it. And I think that's a really cool way to get him.
It's going to look like Jeff Hardy's Transformer title.
Oh god, that thing was rough.
That was rough. That gimmick was great, but the title was rough.
But yeah, and then I'm going to continue along this whole thing and have him do this thing where he pops up randomly. It's not going to be anything like outrageous. It's just going to be this thing where Baylor's getting into his head, Joe's getting angry, and all this stuff's happening, and yeah, I mean they're just going to do this whole number and where Baylor just kind of does the whole Sting deal and pops up randomly, and the crowd just freaks out and. After this, I feel like I'm going to make him... I mean, I guess I would make him... I have to tell you what I'm going to do, I guess. But I'm going to have him beat Joe here. I want him to have that mystique. That's why I kind of made a Wyatt and the Hardys thing.
Comedic.
Kind of, yeah, comedic, because I wanted Baylor to be that kind of psychotic... Not psychotic in terms of like that, but like this crazy mystique type of character. I think that we've talked about before how this would be a great way to get Baylor to get moving again. he's kind of stuck in that rut where nothing's really happening.
James Dean.
James Dean.
Cool guy.
Cool guy James
My
Dean.
dragon.
He might not in real life want to be that, but that's...
I want to see Demon Baylor standing on top of turnbuckles.
Yeah,
eating popcorn.
just eating popcorn.
Or standing in the front row.
Yeah, just random places or whatever.
Yeah.
Just have him just pop his head out of just like limos and shit, like in the middle of just like segments, like there'll be a backstage.
Just have him cut a hole into the ring, and pop out of the ring, and then just leave. just comes out of the ring and then walks out of the ring. It's like, why'd you have to cut a hole? You couldn't just walk under the end.
God, there could be so many funny things.
Yeah,
there's so many random things that you could do.
Yeah.
Or just oh man, it'd be so funny. But I wanted to make him pretty serious, and I wanted to make him like this whole inner demon character, and have him win here, and then have Joe get out of the title picture, and hopefully go into something bigger. But I'm really pimping Finn Balor, the demon character, as just as I was trying to do with Kaz and Apollo Crews, trying to create stars, man, trying to push the boundary, and trying to pull the trigger on guys and create new things, because that's where we are at. That is the main reason I feel like me and Jman were like, listen, this is not working. WWE is falling apart, man. Not falling apart. They're making money, but they're just awful, man. If you look up the reviews of people and all the stuff people have been saying about their pay-per-views this year and their television product, 2017 has not been a good year for them. It has not been good, and it's been the worst it's been in a while. It's like in this really bad transition period where they can't figure out anything. That nothing is sticking correctly.
And they have so much talent.
Yeah, they have a lot.
They have more talent than they've had in a long fucking time.
And I think what it was is they had this idea set in their head that they were like, people want to see this brand split. We can do this. We can do this brand split. We can split these guys up and do this thing. And I think, I'm not saying that it would be better if the whole roster was all on both shows again, but I think that the creative team is split, and I think that they need some fresh minds.
Yeah.
In the business and in creating storylines. Like they said, they have the talent. They have the guys that create characters. Whether or not it's, like we said before, it's a situation that involves politicking backstage and money and doing this and creating stars and blah, blah, blah. It was different back then. The wrestling business back in the 90s was the wrestling business, and they were making money, but it was about the wrestling, and it was about the storyline. I think one major thing that a lot of people are the hardcore fans of wrestling are doing is they're kind of not really jumping ship, but they're kind of moving on to like a New Japan, where they can really watch the quality of wrestling. I think New Japan right now is red hot.
Yeah.
So I mean, and
Lucha Underground or PWG.
Yeah, and these companies that are, the WWE is so huge. They care about the overall spectrum of it, and they care about the making the money.
Yeah.
Making the money. And I get it.
And more of the entertainment.
And the entertainment, yes, the entertainment. But if you're not sticking with the number one, which is the wrestling, then you're just a soap opera.
We could coin a new phrase. When you say WWE, there's a word that comes before entertainment, and that's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's World Wrestling Entertainment, and the wrestling comes before the entertainment. But yeah, that's absolutely right, and that'd be a kick-ass match. Hopefully it'd be better than the match that I saw live at TakeOver in Dallas. But yeah, like you said, I think on a high profile, high scale, given the feud, everything built in there, Joe destroying Lesnar and having a lot of heat behind him, I'm honestly extremely surprised that you put Baylor, established him that high up onto an echelon on your show.
And I just think it's also when I first saw Baylor, one of the first takeovers I watched.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, where it had Baylor with that demon character, and then it had all these young guys. Even had Corbin. And I was like, Corbin looks great, and then just all these guys that are on the main roster now, the American Alphas, and and doing that whole deal. I thought Finn Balor was great. I thought he looked so edgy, and I thought he looked so like on the cusp of just being like something so fresh within WWE, the WWE product, that's so cool, and the fans would get behind, and then that just kind of faltered, and it just fell through the cracks, and it just did not push it, and then I started seeing myself being like, man, I really just I can't stand this guy without this gimmick, to be honest. And I think that comes back to me feeling like, as a booking standpoint, not only wanting to see cool stuff and wanting to book something crazy, but if I was booking myself, trying to create new stars, that's what I was trying to do with a Cruz and a Kaz and Baylor. Baylor is a star, but he's not established a star like a Rollins. He's proven that he's a Universal Champion, but he, as right now as a fan of WWE and what he's done in WWE, he has been a complete bust, at least on the main roster. And I think that they have to put a jetpack on that guy if they really think that he could be a star in their company and do something about it. Yeah. So that's what I kind of tried to lean towards.
Interesting. All right, so we have the main event. I told Ryan that due to what's going to be happening in this main event, we have to make this the main event of SummerSlam. He'll agree with me once this goes down. But we have the WWE Championship on the line. We have champion the phenomenal AJ Styles going up against Shinsuke Nakamura. One-on-one here. We're building it as face versus face. People that have known each other in the past, the amazing match that they had at Wrestle Kingdom, AJ Styles' history in New Japan, Nakamura, them tussling together, and then their first ever one-on-one matchup in WWE. We saw the shades of it being teased at Money in the Bank, the last show that we watched. Obviously, the continuation would be pretty simple here. But I would continue it face-face. I wouldn't turn anybody on anybody. I would have it be the new era shining, of guys that are in WWE that are new, fresh faces to a WWE casual fan and really focusing their talents, which is, bar none, some of the fucking best in the world. And the amazing athleticism and match quality that they would put on here would be absolutely outstanding. One thing I do want to change about, also before this match, I would continue what I did at Battleground. I would have the promos leading into the match where AJ would cut a promo and then would go straight into the match. I love that about the old school nature of like the Attitude Era style booking of how they went into the match as the big feel that they did and just went straight the fuck into a match, and it just kind of like everything just came to a culmination. I would do that. One thing I would change about Nakamura, I don't want to totally steal from the great Muta, especially that he's Asian, but I want Nakamura maybe to use some sort of face paint. I think it would be kind of cool, especially he's going with this whole artist thing, the violins and this and that. I think it would be kind of cool if it was more like a Jeff Hardy-esque face paint, where it's almost just like
half his face.
He puts it on like before the match, like in his entrance or something. Like he's just like painting it on his face, like it's very like organic and artistic and very artistic nature of it. But it would look very rough. It wouldn't look like it's organized like Sting has his lines and shit. Like very like rough, like almost like war paint or like artistry kind of on him. And it fits Nakamura. He's very flamboyant in the way that he does things. I think it would make him stand out a little bit more. Nakamura just needs a little something that just kind of to push him along with WWE, and I don't know, with little things here and there. He's obviously immensely talented in everything that he provides in the ring, and he is extremely...
I think he struggles with the American
extremely style. Charismatic. He does struggle a little with the American style. He would not struggle in this match, obviously.
No.
This would be absolutely outstanding. AJ continuing his same thing, just badass, cool fucking AJ Styles doing his fucking thing as champion. What else was I going to say? Nakamura's still not talking. I don't want Nakamura to talk. If I had Paul Heyman, it'd be fucking awesome. I would love to have Paul Heyman be the mouthpiece for Shinsuke Nakamura. That'd be great. But not talk, just do a kind of Sting thing, probably what Baylor would be doing on his Raw, where he just doesn't speak, his actions speaks for themselves. And I think they could get across that. This wouldn't need to be, you don't need to do anything with this. It's obviously put in two of the best guys in the world and throw them in the ring for 25 fucking minutes and watch a classic. And that's exactly what it would be. So we'd have in here, they would go in there, they would begin this match with a handshake. Very, Code of Honor-esque. They would have them go in here and they would just put on a great fucking match. Let them go out there, do what they do in their sleep, which is, put on great quality work, and have an awesome fucking match. And I'm not going to have anything interrupting this matchup. It's going to go, like I said, 20 to 25 minutes, be a great fucking match, very back and forth, near falls, everything, put into this and be an awesome fucking match. Hopefully one of the best matches you'd see all year, obviously with the talent that's in there. What I'm going to have is I'm going to have AJ Styles retain the championship. Have him hit a Styles Clash, Flying Forearm, whatever the fuck. I'd love to see him hit a Spiral Tap. I don't know if we'll ever see it. We keep talking about Ryan's like, we're never going to see his fucking Spiral Tap in WWE. I was like, God, I don't want to fucking see a Spiral Tap in WWE. That'd be crazy. So fucking bad. But yeah, so I'm going to have him get the win, Styles Clash, whatever the hell. We're going to end it with a handshake. begins and ends with a handshake of both these guys. Very honorable of these two. It fits their gimmick. It fits who they are as people. Their history tied in. If we could get footage of their match in New Japan, which I highly doubt they would do because they wouldn't want to pimp New Japan, but obviously tie in their history that they have. We want to do that into this match. Very simply booked. But that's almost secondary to what is going to be happening at the end of this match. So after this match, we're going to have Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Rusev hit the fucking ring and act like, get ready for another fucking beatdown from these three, because it's the three guys that are pissed off with the new era coming in, taking their spots, taking the main event of SummerSlam away. These guys that just came into the company a year or so ago, coming into this company and taking their spots away, and Randy Orton, who's been in main events of SummerSlams and blah, blah, blah. Dolph Ziggler, who's a guy who wishes he could be in those spots. Rusev, same kind of way. But what we're going to have is we're going to have an interruption. We're going to have somebody come out and get in the way of this, and that person is going to be John Cena. John Cena is going to come out, and we're going to have kind of a stalemate between the two. John Cena is going to stand up for, hey, he's not going to say anything. We're going to have him come out, and it's going to be Nakamura and AJ on one side. It's going to be the three on the other side. Cena's going to come out, and he's like, okay, we've had enough of this shit. He's going to stand there, and John Cena is going to turn on AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, and he is the leader of this newly formed faction between Randy Orton, Rusev, and Dolph Ziggler, which I am titling or coining the name of this faction, The Establishment. Obviously, we've talked about this time and time again. Will we ever get a John Cena heel turn? Again, when I went into this booking, I want to get shit done. I want to see shit that we may never get to fucking see. And one thing I want to see John Cena turn fucking heel. I want to fucking see it. I want to see what we would get out of it. I want to see John Cena in this character. I want to see what the hell he would produce and what, they could do with it. I just want to fucking see it so fucking bad. You didn't want to see Hulk Hogan turn heel until he turned heel, and then you're like, holy shit. The NWO and everything that took off, that was fucking insane. So, building this up as the established kind of guys. John Cena, number one established WWE talent in the last 15 fucking years. He's the guy, the marquee guy. Randy Orton, same kind of thing. They would be the co-heads of this. Guys that have feuded for so long, have had heated rivalries, but they are joined in the goal of taking out the new talent that is coming into their territory and their company that they have ruled for the last 15 years. And those guys are taking over the company that they have had a stronghold on for years and years and years. And bringing in guys that can be, Rusev would be obviously the Batista of this group, of Evolution or whatever. He's the strong, the bruiser, what is the fucking word I'm trying to think of? The bodyguard, the fucking, the bruiser guy in the faction. Dolph Ziggler is you could compare him to like a Randy Orton back when Randy Orton was in Evolution, a younger guy who's right on the cusp, but he just needs something to boost himself up to the main event scene. And like I said, you have the co-heads of this being Randy Orton and John Cena, but John Cena is the leader of this faction. I will literally let John Cena say whatever the hell he would want to say after this beatdown. They would literally, I would want this to be like Nexus times fucking 10 to beat the shit out of fucking Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles to get this over. And man, do you have the lines of casual fans, internet fans, hardcore fans, no matter what you are, you're going to have a line of who you like and who you fucking hate in this fucking feud. Because everybody's going to love AJ, Nakamura. I would eventually turn Kevin Owens face, and I would have him be a part of that. This would build to a Survivor Series traditional tag match with the four, and then I would turn Owens, and I would have AJ, Nakamura, Zayn, and Owens be a part of a team, and have it be,
What about putting Kingston with
Kingston, I was probably going to actually put Kingston
I think it
with
made
the establishment.
Yeah, I was thinking that would have made, well, if you would have, because you already had Rusev with him, it would have probably made more sense to put Kingston with them.
The established guy.
He's been there.
I just wanted a bruiser guy. Yeah. I wanted a guy that was kind of like a bruiser kind of guy.
Or you could have him do a potential turn face.
True, I could actually have that happen. Or a Ziggler down the road too. A Ziggler is a guy that can work off that too. But Kingston would actually be a guy I would actually have join that establishment. That's something I wanted to build too, because I was like, God, who was another guy who would fit perfectly? Kofi Kingston would fit fucking perfectly with these guys. As a guy who has been established but hasn't gotten the opportunities as these young guys have gotten, like the AJs and the Nakamuras, the Baylors. Roman Reigns, who beat John Cena earlier in the night,
yeah.
which would play into this perfectly, which is why I wanted Reigns to go over in that match and Cena to be distraught after that. Who else do you got? I mean, all those other young guys that I talked about, the Corbins and the Harpers and the Wyatts, and all these guys that are taking the spots of these established guys. Now, this obviously looks like that I'm just putting over fucking WWE guys, but what this would be is a down the road. This is a moment in time for wrestling that I would want to create. It would be the, Bash at the Beach. It would be that... Bash at the Beach, or was it Great American Bash? No, Bash at the Beach.
Bash at the Beach.
Bash at the Beach. It would be the formation of NWO. It would be a moment in wrestling history where, holy shit, where were you at when John Cena turned heel and just destroyed the face of the company, which is AJ Styles now, because that's what I'm booking AJ as. He takes all these beatdowns, but it's more respect to the younger talent, because the amount of talent that has come in has finally pushed John Cena to the point to where he's turned into this man.
Okay.
Where everything else, he's been hunky-dory John Cena because he could get over on all these guys. Now, he's lost to AJ Styles. He's lost to these kind of guys. He has seen these guys become the vocal point of this company and taking away from these guys that have been the vocal point in years past. So that's really what it's focusing on. It's a huge booking device to eventually get over these young guys, because they would win. The younger talent would win a Survivor Series traditional tag match. It would probably lead to some huge match with the John Cena versus maybe a Nakamura or something at WrestleMania, or an AJ probably match would be great too, heel versus face, and that would be awesome too. But I would have him do the beatdown. You could have Zayn come out or something. Probably not Zayn, since he was in the Hell in a Cell. I don't really want to involve him. But maybe those three younger guys, Corbins and the Dillingers and the Harpers. Maybe even a Roman Reigns. Bring a guy over from fucking Raw or something to try and thwart this beatdown and shit, and just continue the fucking beatdown where nobody can stop these guys and nobody can, get a leg up on them or whatever in this fucking beatdown, and have them destroy these fucking guys, and have it be the turn of John Cena and have him turn heel. They would do kind of a serious, obviously kind of gimmick. I really don't know how I would play it. I mean, it's just a bunch. Any gimmick nowadays is playing off of other factions, or any faction these days are just playing off of other factions, and obviously you can't really, it's hard to think of an original concept idea. I mean, when one of the biggest factions of all time now in fucking Bullet Club is literally just DX and NWO combined. I mean, they're just taking gimmicks from everybody else and turning it into that, and it's
Japanese
fucking over.
NWO.
Exactly, and it's fucking over like a motherfucker. So you just have them do that. They could wear suits, they could do whatever, even though I think John Cena looks like a gorilla in a fucking suit, but he looks obnoxious. But have him change it up. Have him just get over everything that we shit on John Cena about. Say, yeah, I can't fucking wrestle. Go look at the history books. Go ask CM Punk if I can't wrestle. Go ask AJ Styles if I can't wrestle. Go ask Daniel Bryan if I can't wrestle. I don't want to hear any of this shit. Just have him go on a fucking tangent this. Yeah. Exactly. John Cena. John Cena would love to do this.
Break kayfabe.
Oh my god, he would love to fucking do this. Just shit on everything. And people would just go ape shit, because
talk about how the business wouldn't let him turn heel because they were making too much money.
Exactly. You could bring all those things and break kayfabe and do all that shit. Talk about backstage shit that you can't talk about, and have him do that, and have it be the pipe bomb, and leave these guys fucking in a bloody fucking mess. The WWE champion, and who I would be focusing as the new face of this company, coming in and taking it away from all these fucking guys. So I think this would make as a huge moment to end this fucking show, and as a huge moment in wrestling, obviously, to see a John Cena heel turn, because who knows if we're ever going to get it. We probably won't ever do it, but if I'm booking it, I'm booking it to go down, and I want to see this shit happen. And that would be my new faction. So I would have the establishment of John Cena, Randy Orton, Rusev, Dolph Ziggler, eventually probably Kingston would be added to that as well. Didn't even talk about, also would tie in the Bryan and Shane feud. I would have Shane McMahon be the manager of that establishment. I'd have Shane McMahon come in and be a part of the establishment of the older group of talent or whatever, and I'd have Daniel Bryan obviously be a face of the new era behind the AJs and the Nakamuras, the Zaynes, the Owens, those kind of guys. I mean, the shit writes itself. I mean, it's pretty fucking simple. Who people would get behind. It would be super heated. John Cena would be an uber dick and get as much heat as he possibly could. AJ's Nakamura's would have so much love for them and so much people backing them to get back on there, and this obviously is a plot to get over the younger talent, because it has pushed John Cena to this extent to get him to finally
What if
turn heel.
What if you shortened? What if you shortened the establishment? What if you did it like? I mean, you still call them the establishment. What if you like shortened it to almost like an NWO or a Bullet Club type thing, where it's like
EST or something?
ESTMT.
Sick.
Or ESTMNT. Something like that.
Yeah.
Like I was just sitting here thinking like, what would be cool like if you did that and put it on a shirt.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
well, it's like everybody always does establish. It's always it's on the back of your leg.
Yeah.
EST. It's like that. So I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool. Or EST. That'd be kind of sick. Or be called the establishment, but be known as the EST.
Yeah.
I think that, and that's what people could call them. That's
EST.
great. That's right. That's a great idea coming that I didn't even think of. And I thought of the EST of something like that as being that, but being established, you think of NXT, that could be the EST. So, yeah, I think that would be fucking awesome. And the way that it would go down, like I said, it looks like I'm just putting over a bunch of the older, not older, but of the established guys that have been there. Be creating, but I'm just creating, and I wanted to create a faction. I wanted to create a huge moment and angle around something that this would have been built up the moment I took over the card. It doesn't mess with AJ and Nakamura's match that they had, which would still be great. They don't interrupt it or anything, but that's what I would end up doing there, and I think would be some hell entertaining stuff, because I want to see John Cena's heel. I want to see it go down, and I want to see what the hell he would do with it, and how he would turn it, and I would let him do his own thing. I would literally let him, like, this is your pipe bomb, dude. Go out there and say everything that's been vented up for a very fucking long time.
I'm going to let you finish, but we just created the greatest wrestling show of all time.
We did. Ladies and gentlemen, we went into this thinking that we probably created the greatest fucking show of all time. Let us know. I sure as shit would want to see this fucking show, because it would be fucking awesome. But yeah, it's been a fucking blast to do this. It's been really fun sitting here and coming up with ideas and creative concepts and things like that. It's stuff that we're all about. When you become fucking wrestling fans for as long as we have, and you think about this kind of shit, it's just what we kind of do.
Did you get that joke? Did you know what I was doing there?
With the
I'll let you finish. Did you get?
I didn't get it. No.
When Kanye West went on stage during the award show and was like, "I'll let you finish," because Taylor Swift was up there.
Yeah.
He's like, "But Beyonce had one of the greatest videos of all time."
Yeah, I didn't remember that. That's funny. Yeah, but I don't even know how fucking long this video was. I don't know if anybody's still fucking there. Oh, it's probably longer than that.
If you watched all the way through to this, you're a true Pro Wrestling Pulse fan. You're a true fan.
But we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you got out of it what you hope to get out of it. But we had a hell of a lot of fun booking these shows. We had a hell of a lot of fun booking this show, which would be fucking awesome, as you could tell by what we had on there. But leave your comments. Ideas on what we came up with, on your theories on things, on your thoughts on what we did, what you would have done, or what you would do in this position. Again, don't give us any fucking spoilers. We're coming up with SummerSlam soon, so we'll have the review for that, and we'll be back watching. Yeah, so I mean, we had a blast doing this, but it'll wrap up our Exile
cool
series. Hopefully something cool went down.
One thing, God forbid, one thing super
good
cool happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully one thing really good happens. But I know we'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to SummerSlam and the review for that one, because we'll have a lot of catching up to do after that point. We haven't watched NXT. We'll have to catch up on the takeover that we're going to miss. That's before SummerSlam. The women's tournament, we haven't seen anything of it. Don't have a clue what went down. Anything. Raw, SmackDowns, the pay-per-views.
I've been
fucking
been cramming New Japan down my throat.
Yep, right. Catching up on Lucha Underground and New Japan and
I need to do
all that kind of shit.
I need to watch some Lucha Underground.
You do, for sure. But yeah, so this will wrap up Ryan and I's collective SummerSlam 2017.
It was fun, y'all.
Book card. It was very fun. If you guys like this idea, we might do something down the road. If you just want us to book a random show, just what we would do, dream card scenario or whatever, let us know. If it's something you guys are interested in, you like what we did here, then yeah, hit us up and we can definitely do it down the road, because we had a lot of fun doing it. But this will wrap up our SummerSlam 2017 and our Pro Wrestling Pulse Exile series. For my partner Ryan, I am Jman, and thank you for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse, the Pulse, Professional Wrestling World.